Well, hello. This is Jim, and I'm here with Lauren, and we are Intersect, where we seek to find connection in each other's story. And Lauren, you have a special friend with us today that you met in, writing class? I don't know.
Yes. Hello, and welcome back to our podcast. Today, we are joined by one of my favorite people on campus, Valeria, and I won't say your last name because I'll probably mess it up.
Hi, it's pronounced Valeria Izaguirre in English. Izaguirre. That's how I say it with my accent in English.
Okay.
But yeah, in Spanish it will be Valeria Izaguirre.
Izaguirre.
Yeah.
Hey!
Hey, there you go. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
I am so excited. So Valeria and I met last semester. This chair. Last semester in like one of my first classes that I ever took here, and we ended up writing our essays for the class about each other. And I was like, wow, this is such a cool story. And now Valeria and I are super good friends.
Yes.
And we're going to be roommates next year.
Oh, wow.
And everything. So that is super fun. We have made some crazy memories so far this year, including a car falling off of the road at a corn maze. But anyways, that's beside the point.
That's amazing.
It was an interesting day for sure.
Anyways, so I thought it'd be fun if you shared with our podcast listeners a little bit about your story that I wrote in the essay about how you ended up here at Southern, because you didn't start here at Southern. So take us back to, I guess, where your life started, first of all.
Oh, okay. So I'm from Ecuador in South America. I was born and raised there. And then I graduated high school in 2019. That's kind of where my story started. Kind of like it started way back when I decided when I was a kid that I wanted to like learn English in like school. My parents were always like supporting me, so they put me in different like private classes, and then I started learning English and I really liked it. And then we came here to the States to visit my family. My cousin, she lives in Florida, and that was when I was like, oh my God, I really like this country. Like, I wish one day I can come here and stay longer, right? So I graduated in 2019 high school. We graduated around January, the end of January. And then I was like, I don't want to go to college right away. It's not my thing for me. I want to take a break right now, but I still want to do something important with my life. So I was a volunteer at Florida Conference. I was working for the Pathfinder Adventure Department. The people there were so nice to me. They helped me a lot with like everything at the office. I learned a lot from them. And it was kind of like an exchange. Like they will help me with my English and like learning skills at the office. And I was helping them with whatever they needed. So I learned a lot. It was a great year. I was there for like about 6 months. And I think one day we were talking with my boss and my coworkers, and they were like, "Oh, like, what do you think about coming to the U.S. and like staying here and study, right?" So I was like, "I don't know, like, I will see." And there's only one college in Florida, but it's at Advent Health.
Okay.
And I was not interested in medicine, so I was like, I don't know, like, I will keep looking. And then they mentioned Southern. And they're like, you know what? You do a lot for us. Let us at least pay the ticket so you can go to Southern. So I came here. It was great. It was during summertime, so it was empty. That was kind of like sad.
Yeah.
But I went to the school communication. They were super nice. I heard about public relations. I fell in love with the program. And yeah, so after my visit to Southern, I went back like to Florida. And then after 6 months of staying here in the country, then I had to leave. So I went back home. And then I started like making like plans to come here.
Right.
But it's too expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's expensive for this economy, but it's twice as much for my economy.
Yes.
So we started looking around to see what were the options, tried to find like a loan, scholarships, everything through the church, through my country, to the government. Still was like pretty expensive. I had to take the ACT, the test for like English. So I had to go to Colombia to take the ACT because in my country it was only offered on Saturdays. So I had to travel to another country, and still, it was just a lot of like doors that seem to be closing to come to Southern. So at some point, I was like, okay, like it's okay. I still want to go to Adventist University, but like if it's too expensive in the U.S., then it's okay. And then I was like, it was never in my plans to think about even going to Europe. It just seems like it's going to be more expensive than America.
Yes.
But I was checking, and then it came through Newell College. And Newell College has a business program. And I was like, oh, like, let me check. I talked to them. It was like half the price of Southern.
Wow. Okay.
I got a scholarship and everything. And sadly, because of COVID, we had to do it online.
Okay.
So it was kind of like first year, you know, but still. So, yeah, I did online my first semester. And about 3 months into the semester, we got some news from the school that they were going to shut down the programs, like close down the program. So all the business people and humanities majors had to look another place to finish their studies. So again, another door that seemed that was closing. And I was like, oh, I just started here. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then it was a long, long way. They were trying to talk to Andrews and Washington Adventist University to see if they were if they could take us.
Yeah.
There was like around 10 students that had to move to another university to finish their studies. And one of I think she's the academic register over the advisor at Newell. She graduated from Southern.
Oh.
So she was like, let me see if I can talk to some people. And we heard that the business school here was like pretty good. They got some awards. So we were like, okay, excited. And it was May that we actually found out that we could come here. Like Southern got a deal for us and that we can come here. So it was like a crazy journey.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the end.
Well, because you had checked Southern out before, and you were like, I want to go there, but it's too expensive.
It's too expensive, right?
And then, not the land down under, but the land over the pond, I think is what they say about the UK.
Yeah, across the pond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So mind the gap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a whole thing, right? So I started wanting to go to Southern and Newell, and then I was so excited to go to Newell, and then they closed. And then again, they're like, but at least you're going to Southern now. Yeah. So super excited about the whole thing. We started meeting two people. As international student, you have to go through a lot of process. You have to go to get an appointment for getting your visa, your student visa. Right. Again, it was still COVID times, so everything was shut down. So we had to get an emergency appointment, and they sent me to the capital to go get my visa. I get there, I have everything. And then they were like, okay, like, we'll let you know, but we need your name and your email and your address. But you have to just send us like an email. That was super weird because I had everything. And they had it right there. They knew my name. But I guess, I mean, at that point where everything was again coming, like, I know, I was like stressed, anxious, but at the same time so excited that this is what's happening. Yeah. And I'm 100% sure that God was testing my patience. Or like he was putting these little, like, things in my way. But I was like, okay, God, you know what? This is another little thing that's happening. Yeah. But like you've been opening all these doors. Like the fact that at the beginning it seems like everything was just like being closed. And then I had to go through all this journey to go to Southern. So after that, I got my visa. That was a very exciting moment,
Now, I'm just thinking what's crazy is that Lauren has family in the UK. So
imagine.
You started in the UK, your journey, but it was actually in Ecuador because you were online, right?
Right, yeah.
But then now here you're at Southern.
Connections.
Right.
With somebody, maybe you'll still get to go to the UK. You and Lauren can do like a girls trip.
Yes.
Oh, we should go to Newell.
Imagine that I went to Newell and then you were visiting your family one day and you were like, oh, let's go check Newell. And then boom, we met over there.
That would be so random.
Yeah.
I was going to go there and then they shut the program down.
Can you give us a hey, you want to go for fish and chips in your little
my accent?
Yeah.
I can do perfect English accent.
Okay. All right. Anyways.
But
sorry.
so
little squirrel there. Okay, go ahead.
Continue.
But yeah, so I guess I was still, kind of shocked and but I was all like overwhelmed my feelings, like leaving your house and like coming, like moving because I've been here and like last time it was 6 months, but this time is actually living here.
Yeah.
So it was a whole process of like saying goodbye and like,
Yeah.
So
Did
it's
you
like,
have a big party leaving and stuff?
yes, I did.
What kind of stuff do you guys do for parties?
But
Like
I
when you're
was
gonna
like, my friends from church, they organized something. It was a surprise thing. But I kind of was very suspicious. I was like, this is very interesting. But yeah, we did something with my family. We just got together and we had like a barbecue.
Okay.
And then we ate. Like, it was nice.
Yeah.
And then my friends for church, she was like, I don't know, got food. And then we played games.
But is there any special kind of dish in Ecuador that like you would have had or?
Well, in the last week in Ecuador, I had a lot of like traditional things. So since I'm from the coast, we eat a lot of like green plantains in different forms and shapes, like fried, I don't know, like boil and all that, anything. So I ate a lot of green plantains before leaving that week.
When is the last time you've had a green plantain?
That's a great question.
Are you okay?
Actually, I had some like last month because I have an Ecuadorian friend here in the area, and she cooked some for us for lunch.
All right.
So that was great. It was really good.
A little.
Fun.
But yeah.
So then, quite a process to get here.
Yeah.
Like, going away party, and you had been here for 6 months, and then you enroll in Newbold, and then and so you're starting to tell us about that process of
right. So yeah, I guess the last step of that process was actually taking the plane.
The plane.
Yeah, and then I mean, when you come here to the States as in like international student, or like even as just a tourist, they can tell you to not enter the country, right? So as an international student, it was my first time. No, as a tourist, I've been here multiple times, so it usually goes smoothly. But this one as an international student, and I was like, oh, like scary, going by myself to the customs. And they were just like, I just need this and this. And then welcome to the country. And I was like so excited. So once I was in, let's go.
Yay.
Yes. And then, I visited my cousin for a couple of days. I came with my dad. He was the only one who had a visa at the time. And then he just dropped me to college a week after we arrived in the country. And I've been here since then. Well, I went to Ecuador for Christmas last year and for summer. But I've been living here in the States.
Yay! I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. It was definitely a journey. A lot of twists and turns.
So then you guys are in this class, and you're like, okay, I'll write a story about your journey to get here.
Yes.
And
It was an assignment. We had to write a profile on. It was a journalism class, so we had to write a profile. And I was super nervous, so I didn't know anyone. And there was Valeria. She was like, "Hey, do you want to be partners?"
Okay.
So then we interviewed each other.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And that was how it all got started.
Wow! And what did you learn about Lauren?
Well, that her family was from the UK. That she changed her majors a couple of times.
Yes.
Yeah, until she finally ended in the school of communication.
Now we have the same major.
And we have the same major, which is it's kind of, I don't know, interesting that we have the same major because it's not a common major.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like business administration majors, like accounting majors and like PR majors. There's a lot. But then at the time that we met each other, it was pretty much, I think, 3 other people in the department that had like the same major because we are business administration and public relations. So it's a double major.
Yeah.
Now there's a couple more. There's at least like
a
10,
bunch of other
15.
people. They were like, oh, we should do that too.
So
as your lives have intersected, what would you say have been some of the things that you've appreciated about having this relationship with one another, especially kind of coming from 2 different worlds, 2 different cultures, and yet having this shared kind of objective of business PR? Like what stands out for you guys right now about your friendship so far?
That's a good question.
You want to start?
Yes, I've really enjoyed getting to know you, Valeria, for like the last, I don't know. I didn't receive a ton last year. This year we have the same friend group and we've been like hanging out a bunch. But I just think it's so cool how like people from different, like totally different. Like I've lived in the same town like my whole entire life, and I just came from Michigan down here. But you have like from a different country and everything. But I just think it's super cool getting to know you and like everyone else from different cultures. And I'm so thankful for you because you've been such a good friend to me.
No. We're getting emotional here.
I know we are.
Yeah, I feel like definitely a blessing to meet each other in the first semester, that we were there in the same class. Again, I think it was the first class of the day. It was at 8 a.m. And we connected. I mean, as she mentioned, we didn't spend a lot of time together the first year. I mean, first semester, we only had that class. And then the second semester, we have two classes. We had two classes together.
Oh, I remember you would always invite me to come eat breakfast with you. I was like,
oh, that's true.
So
We had a lot
nice.
of breakfast together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess just sharing that and then getting to know each other. And that, I think that's one of the like fun things about college is that you met people from different backgrounds. And there's one thing, like you don't have to have a lot in common with that person, but just one thing, and then you can connect with that person and then just like enjoy. And I think that's what happened with Lauren. We just connected that day at class. And then we enjoyed our friendship. And then these years were great for us. Different things, just going around and then sharing different activities too. Not only like school, because we have like 3 classes together.
Yes.
This semester. So not only like classes and studying, but also like we go out, we do this, we like enjoy.
We have life group.
We have life group
cool.
together
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So it's a bunch of things that we enjoy together.
So if you were telling somebody that's like, because I've had this conversation with a young adult as part of my life, and it's like, I just don't have any friends. I struggle to connect, whatever. You know, and you were to just, and it, I guess it feels like it should be obvious, but I think sometimes for people, maybe they struggle to find connection. So, you know, it sounds like one of the things is you mentioned Valeria just saying, hey, you want to go to breakfast? So maybe it's just like opening a piece of your life that seems kind of like routine or, you know, whatever, and just saying, can we share this together? Are there other thoughts that you guys have about just even forming connections or finding intersection with other people?
Yeah, right. Like I mentioned, like at least one, you just have to have one thing in common with a person and like or one thing that you can share. And then from that starting point, you can just expand yourself and your friendship. And like through Lauren, I met more of like a lot of my friends from these years group, right? Friends.
Yeah.
So she introduced me to a couple of friends. So I guess like if I didn't know Lauren, I wouldn't know these people. So I'm guessing my advice for this person that might be struggling in college is just like be open to talk to people. And I know it's scary sometimes too, but it happened to me when I'm not like also in the mood to talk to people or like go to things. Like Southern has a lot of events. So it's just like be open to, you know, interact with other people. And not close yourself, because sometimes you're like, nah, like if they don't talk to me, then I won't do anything. And then you're just like, not know anyone, you know?
And I like what you say about being open, because I feel like some of my closest friends aren't necessarily people I would have chosen. Like, you know, I even think about this guy, Bill, you know, out when I was in Colorado the first time, and I met him. It was like, you know, what's your name again? Bill. You know, he's just kind of very abrasive. And yeah, over time, I really grew to appreciate him. You know, the guy that was my best man at my wedding, Rob, I met him at a party hanging out with some other friends, and I didn't know that we were going to become really close. So, yeah, I think that even in my own kids' lives, that I watched them, and it was a rough transition a little bit coming here to Collegedale, because you have a lot of people in this community that maybe have been here for a long time. They've already formed friends, and so sometimes they may not kind of have in their purview to include new people, not because they're mean or anything, but just because maybe they're kind of already kind of like have their little circles. But I watched from my own kids, like when they were willing to kind of be open and receptive to the people that were interested in connecting with them, that they found kind of greater satisfaction and greater fulfillment than trying to break into a certain group or break in with somebody that might be popular or whatever, but just saying, well, being open. Who might God even be bringing into my sphere that he's wanting me to connect with?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely what I found. Like last semester, I kind of was struggling with like finding friends as well. Because I was like, I was like really worried that people were like not going to want to hang out with me or were going to judge me or whatever. But then like Valeria was just like, hey, do you want to come to breakfast with me? And just by somebody like saying that to you, that can do a lot for a person. Like that really stood out to me. And so it's just like something that, if you're like struggling to find friends, just like a simple invitation, like just make somebody feel wanted. And like if you feel like you don't have any friends, just be the friend that you want. Like maybe you're sitting there and you're just like, oh, nobody ever invites me anywhere, but like it's easy to invite someone else. Be like, hey, I'm going to do this. Do you want to come?
Yeah.
And just like they can say no if they were good.
Right.
Yeah. And then sometimes they can say no, and then maybe next time you will see each other again.
But who knows? They might say yes.
Yeah.
Like one of my professors this semester said, you already have a no by not asking, so you may as well ask.
That's what my mom says all the time.
Wow. Yeah.
If you don't ask, then it's already a no.
That is definitely a gift that my oldest child has ever since I can remember. He has the capacity that a no just means ask a different way.
That makes sense too.
There you go.
Yeah. So, well, and, there's this gal, Brene Brown. She's like one of my favorite. She's a sociologist from Houston and written a bunch of books. But she had this talk that she did called The Anatomy of Trust. And she was trying to explain how trust is formed to her daughter when her daughter was like in grade school. And she's like, you know how your teacher has a marble jar at school, and when she sees a kid doing something kind to another kid or just a little thing that she puts a marble in the jar, and her daughter's like, yeah. She's like, well, that's kind of how trust is built. It's just like one little thing at a time. And she's like, do you have any marble jar friends? And her daughter thinks for a minute. She's like, yeah, Susie. Well, why is she a marble jar friend? Well, because we were at the soccer game and she remembered Meemaw's first name, which Meemaw was like grandma, And so, like for you guys, trust started to build just by saying, hey, you want to go to breakfast? So sometimes I think, like even with friendship, we think it's some big, huge thing, but often it's just those little marbles that are being dropped in the jar.
It's the small things and small details that start building,
Yeah.
That's how you start.
Yeah.
You don't need the big.
Yeah. All right. So I think we can wrap, but what do you guys got for our wrap? Like, what's the big takeaway today?
The big takeaway is, let's see. I don't know how to wrap it up. I don't know. Probably just like, how we always kind of end these podcasts is saying nothing is really as huge and scary as we think it is. Like we usually end it saying something like being a missionary, because we talked to a missionary on here once. Being a missionary isn't like this huge deal. It's just the little things. And then like...
Yes, being a missionary is like a canary. Just a little tweet here and there. Okay, sorry.
That's funny. And so just like... Thank you, Valeria, for coming on and sharing your amazing story. I'm so thankful you're here, and you've been such a good friend to me. Love you.
Thankful for you too and for the invitation. It was nice to talk and then share my little story.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So don't forget to be a friend today, and thank you for listening.
And go invite somebody to breakfast.
Yes. Invite people to get food. That's always how friendship starts.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time on Intersect.